The August Makers Box is a celebration of all things garden. I am a master gardener and I wanted to bring to life some of my favorite things in the gardening world. I really hope you enjoy this month's Makers Box and today's video. For project one, I thrifted this a while ago. Actually, it was over a year ago and has been in my stash. And I have been on a recent clean out mission, and I grabbed this and I thought it was going to be perfect for today's video. I am taking beadboard, which is found in this month's Makers Box, and it is a DIY paint color. And I am using the exclusive paper that is designed by Royce, and we're going to apply that using liquid patina, which is my go-to decoupage medium when it comes to Royce's papers. I apply a nice even coat of the liquid patina. I then take my misting bottle and I mist the decoupage paper, and that activates all the fibers in the decoupage paper. And typically I like to have it placed and do this, but this piece I thought I would just apply it as, just lay it down all at once, and it still worked out perfect. I then took my paintbrush and I worked out all the wrinkles and really made sure that it adhered perfectly. After it dried, I then took my thumb sander and I sanded away all the excess. And you guys, if you don't have one of these sanders, you are definitely missing out. They are amazing. After I did that, then I went and I applied Eden, which is another DIY paint color, and I went around the entire perimeter and applied one even coat. Then on the inside, I used raw silk from Fusion Mineral Paint. It is a one-step paint, and so I applied 2 even coats there. And then I had a vintage knob that I had thrifted ages ago, and I applied that. And really, you guys, that is how simple this project is. The final step, I did need to seal that DIY paint with Big Top, and voila, I have an amazing drawer to house a lot of my goodies. For project 2, I recently was at the Goodwill Bins and I found this. I actually found several signs, and anytime I find a sign that has really good bones, I grab it. You can see this was $3 at a rummage, and I probably paid roughly $1 for it. I liked how it had the beveled edges. It just really added a lot of character. So for starters, I went ahead and again used beadboard to cover that writing. I like to have white paint underneath my paper. It really makes that decoupage paper pop. Now I'm using the second exclusive paper from Royce. She does design 2 exclusive papers for my Makers Box each and every month. And it is so easy to apply paper, and it completely changes the look and feel of your project. So again, I applied liquid patina, I misted my paper, laid it down, and then I worked my way down the sign. After it was dry, I grabbed that hand sander and I sanded away all the excess, and I went around the entire perimeter and did that. Now next I'm using Homestead Blue, and that is from Fusion Mineral Paint. It matched perfectly with this paper. So once I work with either Royce or Connie to design the papers, I then curate all the paint colors to go with the papers. And this color matched perfectly. At the same time finding this sign, I found this like corrugated, I don't even know what it is. It was from a church and it just looked very cool, and I thought I could use it for some mixed media. So I decided to use the 2 envelopes, and I'm using that initial recycled paper, and I am just cutting out with water 2 different images, and we're going to decoupage those on the front of these corrugated envelopes. After that, I am attaching these clips, and I also thrifted these at the Goodwill Bins. Anytime I find unique hardware like this, I'm grabbing them. I took my tape measure and I laid them out evenly on the board. I put the first one in the center and then staggered the other 2 on both sides. I then took my screw gun and screwed them in, and then we're going to attach these decoupage pieces. I also wanted to let you know that I did paint the backside beadboard and attached them with liquid patina. For project 3, this one is so simple, you guys. I found this little metal bucket and it was at the Goodwill Bins, and something about it definitely stood out. I think it was like the galvanized, and it was a bit crusty. It was so super cute. I used Connie's paper, and she designs 2 exclusive papers for my maker's box, a 3-up and then a single. So we're gonna use just the single, and this one really I love. It's my favorite. I love the paintbrush with the bouquet of flowers. And I have discovered that when I use rice paper, I am really loving the Fusion decoupage gel. It's a bit thicker and it just works a little bit better with the rice paper. So for starters, I take water and a paintbrush and I go ahead and instead of cutting it with the scissors, I wet it and then I tear it. It looks a lot more authentic. Then took beadboard and I paint the back side, and I learned this technique from Lexi Grenzer and Royce, because you like to start with a white background typically because it really makes your paper pop. Because I'm applying this to something and I wasn't planning on painting the rest, I just decided to paint that back so it would pop. I then used that Fusion decoupage gel and applied that, and then I also misted my rice paper and I used my paintbrush to smooth out all the wrinkles. Lastly, I used Apothecary labels. It's an IOD stamp set, and you guys, I love that they've included some small fonts, and I'm taking it and I am just putting brushes, and I'm going to stamp brushes on the very front. So I pick all my letters and then I use the IOD permanent ink and I stamp up the letters, and then to apply it, I line it up, I lay it down, and once you lay it down, that is key. You want to make sure that you rub over all the letters without moving it. For project 4, I found this red Merry Christmas wood plate, and I just thought it had really good bones, and I love finding wood plates like this. So I took it outside, I sanded it really well with my hand sander. The paint on it was kind of raised, so I wanted to make sure that when I painted it that you couldn't see all those details. And then I'm taking Eden and I'm applying 1 even coat of Eden to the entire piece. While that's drying, I grabbed the second paper from Connie from the Painted Photographer. I'm taking the paintbrush method with water, and I am going to draw a line where I want to tear it and then just tear it. Again, I want to blend this, so it's going to really help you blend the paper seamlessly onto the plate. I painted the back side of the paper with beadboard. Again, I want it to really pop, and then I'm using Fusion's transfer gel to apply it. I mist my paper, I then apply the transfer gel, and I smooth it all out. Next, I'm going to seal the piece, and the reason I'm doing this is I'm going to try something different. I want to use milk paint on here to try to blend with the milk paint. So I seal it with Big Top, and now it's time to mix the milk paint. If you haven't done that before, it's super easy. You just use 1 part milk paint to 1 part water, and what I like to do is mix it really well with a hand mixer, and then I let it sit for 10 minutes to really thicken up. Now it's time to apply the milk paint, so I give it another really good stir, make sure that there's really no big clumps. And what I do here is I apply 1 coat, I then take my heat gun and I dry it, and then I go back in and apply a second coat. I realized real quick after applying the second coat that I thought it was going to be a little bit more difficult to blend the milk paint with the DIY paint. And I know that Connie uses all the DIY paint to paint her rice papers, so I decided to do something a little different here. So what I decided to do was take a little bit of the Eden, a little bit of a gray that I had used in a previous maker's box, and I also took a little beadboard, and I am going to blend inside. I want just the inside to be the blended looking, like all of it is rice paper, and then the exterior I'll leave it as the milk paint. So the key with blending is what you want to do is you really want to try to water your paints down to really blend in there. And I missed an entire clip where then I brought in weathered wood, because if you looked at Connie's original paper, there was a bit of weathered wood in there as well. So then I went back and I applied a 3rd layer of the milk paint to the exterior, and then I gave it a really good zap from the heat gun. I wanted it to crackle a bit, show a bit of that green Eden color through that. Then I took a sandpaper and I just sanded the entire piece. Again, I wanted to add a little bit more distress to it. And then I took the dark oil wax from the milk paint and I applied that all over the front. And it really brings out all that crackle goodness that I created with that heat gun. I let it sit for 10 minutes and then I wiped away the excess, and then I sealed the entire inside that I had blended. So when you're using DIY paint, you do want to seal it. So I sealed it with Big Top. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I can't wait to hear what you think of the projects and the papers in the August box. Also, the paint colors are absolutely amazing too, so I can't wait to hear what you guys think about the whole box, and if there is anything, any themes that you'd like to see in the future, let me know in the comments below. If you're liking my content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any video, and then give me a thumbs up if you liked today's video as well. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.